Hello and welcome to the second lecture in this series, which is on how to select the right universities to apply. This is the overview of the lecture series, and we are at the second stage of university selection. We have already discussed how we can go about the different courses to select, and by now I hope you would have selected a right course that you would want to study. Now let's look at things which you need to keep in mind while selecting the universities. So the learning objectives of this particular talk includes learning about what are the different things that you need to consider while selecting the universities to apply. We will also look at how to evaluate the universities with respect to their faculty profiles and the research that is carried out in those universities. So let's first look into the things that we need to consider. One of the important things that you need to think about is the climate conditions. You all may have heard about the freezing conditions and the snowfall that happens in the US, and if you are particularly affected by freezing temperatures or very low temperature or cannot handle cold, it would be important to select universities in state where there is not a lot of snowfall. So in this particular map you can see the different states of the United States where there are heavy snow, as well as states with low snowfall. So as you can see, the states which are to the southern side, which is California, Arizona, Texas, South Carolina, North Carolina, as well as Florida, these are some of the states where the amount of snowfall is much less or almost negligible as compared to some of the states which are closer to the Canadian border, which include states like Washington, Minnesota, New York, New Jersey. You may have heard about these names, and these places are known to be known for the freezing cold temperatures. So when you're selecting your university, this can be one of the things which you can look for as to which state is that university located in, and in that way you would be able to see what could be the climate conditions in that area. Next, you should also consider the geographical proximity to biohubs. Now what do I mean by biohubs? Biohubs are basically places where there is lot of industrial activity, or there are pharmaceutical companies located in that area. So the pins on this map point to locations where there are a lot of pharmaceutical companies. Why this is important is, if you are, let's say, targeting a industry job after your masters, it is important that you are as close to the industrial areas as possible. This would help to make you more attractive as a candidate to the companies, because they won't have to pay you relocation costs. It's a norm in the US for companies to pay relocation costs to candidates once they are hired, if they have to move from one state to another. So what you see is, on the west coast, which includes cities like Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, there are lots of pharmaceutical companies around these areas, and that's why universities around these areas you will see will have a lot of industrial focus. Similarly, on the east coast, you will see cities like Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Maryland, Chicago is also there, where you have a lot of industrial pharmaceutical industries, and this also helps during your study. So if you are, let's say, pursuing your master's program and you are eligible for a internship position, so in that case you are able to also pursue an internship while doing your masters if you are living close to one of these areas. It's not like if you are in the other states you would not be able to find a job. It's just relatively you would be a much attractive candidate and in closer to the places where the actual requirement is. So this should be one of the considerations if you are planning to get into industry after your masters. Okay. Another aspect which is often of due consideration, and especially by the families or parents, is about safety. Your parents or your relatives may be hearing a lot about safety scenarios in the US, in particular cities, which they may see on the news portals or on the channels, where you find some stray incident about safety which may induce some kind of fear as to how the student would be able to live in a different country. This map here shows the amount of violent crimes in different states of the United States. So as you can see, Alaska is one of the most violent states, and so because it's a secluded area, there is lots of forests, not many people around, it is known to be not so safe state as such. But at the same time, there are lots of states which you can see over here which are not so violent, or where there is not so much crime that is going on. Of course, even in states like California and in New York, you will find some amount of crime which is always there, but the universities will also help you to advise you on things which you should be doing, so that you can stay away from these kind of areas where there are more crime rates as compared to other area. Each city has its own areas which are known to be not so safe areas, and so you should be aware of that before going. So what you can do is at this point of time, you can talk to alumni or people who are staying in that city, or if you have some relatives who may be able to help you with this kind of information. You can also find this information on the internet by just searching about the crime rates and these sort of things, and you will get complete information about which areas may be better for housing, which areas may be not so good to go around late when it is dark. So while choosing universities, this could be one of the things which you can consider as well. Okay, coming to financial considerations. So this is one of the most important factors which a lot of students think about before they select the university that they want to study in. There are two aspects to financial considerations. One is the cost of living and the other is the cost of tuition. So let's first look into the cost of living. So cost of living is basically the amount of money that will be spent just by living in that particular city or state or near that university. So as you can imagine here, the ones in the darker blue shades are the most expensive states, and the lighter blue shades are the most affordable states. So California, Oregon, New York, South Carolina, these states are known to be pretty expensive, or the most expensive relatively within the United States. Whereas other states such as Texas, Arkansas, these sort of states are not known to be that expensive and are much more affordable as compared to other states. The reason why this is also because there are regulations for each state, and so for everything there are state taxes that apply, and this amount of state taxes may differ from one state to another. So even these things are decide as to how affordable a state may be to live in. But at the same time, I think you would have already connected this with the location of the biohubs. The location of the biohubs is also on the east coast and the west coast, which coincides with the most expensive states, which means that although the state may be expensive to live in, you would also have a better chance to get employment and be able to earn from that state in that city. Okay, coming next to the cost of tuition, which is another aspect of financial consideration. So cost of tuition also varies from university to university. This is a common question that what may be the cost of a master's program in the United States. Although it is very difficult to pinpoint an exact figure, it would range somewhere between 30 to 50 lakhs at the moment. Again, this range has its own universities which may lie beyond this range on both sides, but in order to get an idea about what may be the cost of tuition or the fees at a particular university, you need to understand two things. One is the cost of tuition is calculated based on the number of credits or units that you need to complete to get the master's degree. So in the US, the system is such that you have to complete a certain number of units or credits, and once you complete those credits, you would be able to get a degree, a master's degree. So this number of credits ranges between somewhere around in the 20s to somewhere in the 40s. Again, this depends on the type of course, the exact things that you are going to study, the university, many different things. So you can find this exact information on the university website, where it will be listed as to how many units are needed to complete a master's degree. You will also get a cost per unit. So in the university, for each school, or let's say for college, school of pharmacy, there will be a unit cost. So per credit there will be cost which will range again from $500 to $2,000. These costs are again different for international students and for the regular domestic students. So while looking at this, you need to be careful. And to get an idea about the cost of tuition, you basically need to multiply the number of units which are required by the number of by the dollar unit per credit that you have to pay, and that way you can get an idea about the tuition cost for that particular course. In addition to this, there are other fees which you also have to consider. These include the international student fees, student recreation fees, student services fees. There are different sort of fees which also apply beyond this calculation, which would be somewhere in the range of 10 to 20%. So through this calculation, you would be able to arrive at the ballpark figure of what may be the cost of that master's program in that particular university. We will also look at some of the examples when we go through some of the websites. Let's go now into the second next part, which is looking at how to evaluate the university. So, in order to evaluate the universities, you need to consider two things. First is the research interest. So, here every university will have its own research area that it focuses on. You can find out about this information by going through their websites. All the information is usually available on the websites. So, let us look into a few university websites and try to see and get information that we need. Okay, so this is University of Buffalo, New York, and I just went to buffalo.edu, and you can look at different options. So, every university website you will see an options at the top, which will include academics, degree programs, research, admissions. So, these options will always be there. You can just go through them and try to find out the information that you need. Let's go into academics, and here you can see there is an option to choose degree programs as well as schools and colleges. So, let us go into schools and colleges. You can also explore degree programs where you would have to particularly put in pharmacology or pharmaceutical sciences or specific things that you are looking for, and able to find that information. We will go into school and colleges and try to see if there is a pharmacy school in this particular university. So, if I scroll down, I can see a school of pharmacy and pharmaceutical sciences. Every school at the university will usually have a school website, and there will be different departments within the school where you will be able to find more information. So, let us directly go to the school website for School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences. Okay, so this is the website for University of Buffalo. Here I can see under academics there are different programs which includes pharmaceutical sciences, clinical translational therapeutics, doctor of pharmacy programs. We are interested in pharmaceutical sciences master's program, so let us get into pharmaceutical sciences. Okay, so as we saw, there is a BS program in pharmaceutical sciences as well. The master's program in the US are usually they come under the graduate programs. So, always remember to get into graduate programs to be able to find the right information. Under graduate programs, I can see graduate curriculum as well as MS degree programs. If I go into MS degree programs, there is MS Pharmaceutical Sciences, MS Pharmacometrics, Personalized Therapy. So, you can explore both of these courses to see if that does fit your requirements. Let us look into MS in Pharmaceutical Sciences. Okay. So, here as we can see, there is program requirements. Okay. So, as I was speaking about the number of credit hours that are needed, here it mentions that you must satisfactorily complete at least 30 graduate credit hours for the MS degree. So, this particular program requires 30 credits to be completed in order to get a degree, and from the courses you would be able to get an idea about what are the different research programs that are being carried out at this particular university. So, if I go into graduate curriculum here, this is the graduate curriculum. So, you can see all the different types of courses that you need to take in this particular program. So, you can see basic drug development, pharmaceutical chemistry, computational basics of pharmacometrics, there is pharmaceutical analysis, physical pharmacy, molecular medicine methods, pharmacokinetics, dynamics, drug metabolism, transport. This will give you a fair idea about what are the different courses which are involved. You can go into further details by clicking on each of these courses and seeing what is taught in that particular course. This is the course curriculum which is required to be completed. There will also be some electives. These electives will be basically areas or concentration areas which are not necessarily required, but you can customize it based on your requirement. So you can choose some of the programs within some of the courses from within this list, and you can try to make up the program which suits your requirements. Okay, so this is pharmacy at Buffalo. Let's look into Northeastern University, which is another program which is very common, looked at by a lot of students. So Northeastern University also has a school of pharmacy, not a school of pharmacy but a school of health sciences. So I'll go into academics, graduate education. Okay, here we can directly look into the different specific types of master's programs. So I'll go by the second method here. Okay, so this has all the different types of master's program which are listed. We can narrow down our results by going into the master's degree type that we need, and the area of study can be pharmacy and pharmaceutical sciences. Okay, so I can see that I have found 6 programs: biomedical nanotechnology, biomedical sciences, medicinal chemistry, pharmaceutical sciences, pharmacology. So these are the different options that you have to pursue a master's degree in at Northeastern University. If I go into pharmaceutical sciences, I will see the different options here where you can learn about the admissions, curriculum, experience, the faculty and the students as well. So if you look at the program, this is a 2-year program, it's a full-time requirement. A lot of programs are also part-time where there are industry people who are taking that course, so it's a part-time program and you have a longer time period to complete the particular program. You can read up about these the information here and try to understand what is the program on. If I go down, there should be admissions requirement, which will give me all the information about what is needed. So as you can see, the requirements: you need to complete an online application, there are letters of recommendation, transcripts, and we will discuss about all of this in the next lecture, where I will talk about preparing all these documents. So all these requirements are listed over here. As an international student, you may have additional requirements, so always check what requirements may be there for you as an international student. Usually TOEFL or IELTS is always a requirement for international students. In addition, you may be required to send in your transcripts or require a evaluation of your transcripts. So these are some of the things. Of course, we will go into detail in the next lecture. You can see a deadline also over here. Admission date for fall 2021 is June 1st, so which just passed by. And you can also see the curriculum here. So general requirements, you have to complete 14 to 16 semester hours. So these are the different courses that are required to be completed. You can see here cellular physiology, experimental design. So these are the courses, and you can go into details of each of these courses as well to try and understand what is being taught. Based on this, you can make an understanding of if you like that particular program. There are electives which are mentioned here as well. You can choose those electives from these different departments. So the graduate programs usually are very flexible in the US, where you are allowed to take courses from different departments or different schools as well. If you have a liking for a particular area or a particular course, you can let's say, for example, if you are doing a master's in pharmacology and you would want to get some exposure to clinical research from a regulatory science department, you can easily take a couple of regulatory science course on clinical trials or clinical research, and that way you can customize the program to fit your requirements. If I go down here, there is also a faculty page which lists out the people who are part of this department, and you can click on them to look at exactly what kind of research they perform. This will also give you an idea about what research is focused on at this particular university or in this particular program. So in this way, you will be able to get a lot of information about the programs on the websites itself directly, and all the information is usually available on the websites. You can also directly contact the graduate school or the admissions department within the university or within the college or school of pharmacy, and for any information that you need, they would be more than happy to reply to you back. So emails would always work, so you can definitely try that. Let's look at a couple of more examples. So we have looked at a few private universities. We can now look at South Dakota State. So this is a state university, and you can see here there are different options to select. You can just go through the website and browse through it to find the different things that are mentioned on the website. Okay, let's go into academics here again. Okay, within academics we can see there is an option to select colleges and departments. So let's go into this one. Here we can see the different colleges listed out. You can also see a college of pharmacy and allied health professions, and there is a department on pharmaceutical sciences, so we can choose this one. Okay, so this gives you the information on the PhD programs, MS programs, and all the different information that you can look through. Okay, for MS program, it lists out how to apply, the tuition costs, the curriculum, the faculty research. So this is all the information that you need to look into to be able to see if this is the right program for you. If I go into how to apply, you can see what is the process, what kind of different information is needed. The deadline is mentioned here. Okay, and if I go back, yeah, so the curriculum, this would mention about the different courses that you need to take. Okay, so these are the required courses, which includes advanced concepts in pharmaceutical sciences, medicinal chemistry, pharmacology, biomedical sciences, pharmacogenomics. So as you can see, this looks like a program to be more focused on the biology side. There are techniques in pharmaceutical sciences as well, and then there are options in the electives part where you can select from a few of these, where you have pharmacogenomics, public health, toxicology, cancer biology, microimaging techniques. So if you're really targeting an industrial position, I would suggest that you gain as many technical expertise as possible, and you learn as many techniques as possible. And so it would be really useful if you can take courses like these where you get hands-on experience on some techniques which can help you land a job after your masters. Okay, so you can get information about tuition and costs here. So this is the cost per credit hour, as I was mentioning, for non-resident international students. The cost is $888 per credit, and if you need 30 credits as mentioned here, total estimated cost of the program can be calculated in this way. Okay, let's look at another example, a last example, so that you will have a better idea. So this is University of Southern California, and here I'm going into academics through the options at the top. So again, here there is a famous school of pharmacy, which is mentioned here. Okay, so I can go to the pharmacy school website and get more specific information. So it lists out an option to look at the programs here. So these are the different programs that you can study. Under graduate programs, this is the specific one which we should be looking at. You can see all the different information about the PhD program award recipients and other things. Okay. So let's go into pharmaceutical and translational sciences. Right. So here you see for the PhD program all the things are listed over here. Similarly for the MS program as well. So there is MS in clinical and experimental therapeutics, molecular pharmacology, toxicology, pharmaceutical sciences. Let's take an example of pharmacology now, as we have discussed pharmaceutics already. For the MS program here, this is what the MS program in pharmacology focuses on. As it mentioned, it emphasizes on molecular neuropharmacology, receptor pharmacology, biochemical oxidant toxicology, so a lot of free radical research which happens here. You can go into more details by looking into admissions as to what is required to get admitted. So these are the criteria for admissions: a minimum GPA of 3.0, GRE as I mentioned as of now is not required, letter of recommendations and all the requirements are mentioned over here. It also mentions about the requirements for degree completion. So this will give us the number of units that are required. So as mentioned here, 24 core curriculum courses plus thesis courses to make a total of 28 units that would be needed to complete this program, right? So these are the different course offerings which are mentioned over here as well: pharmacogenomics, proteomics, spectrometry, drug discovery design, drug transport. So as I said, you can choose from a lot of elective courses to make sure that you get what you specifically are looking for, but there will be a lot of options that you have to be able to select. Also what happens is some of the courses are more industry oriented, so you can get that sort of information also once you go over there. If you have any question on any of the particular courses, the schools are very open to even connect you through the professor who teaches that course, so where you can discuss more about that particular course with them. So this is some information on the graduate programs. We can also look into regulatory science, which is another option which you can think of, and there are a few universities which do offer this course as well. Within the regulatory science program, you have multiple options like an MS in regulatory science, drug development, regulatory management. All those are also available in the programs. We can see those graduate master's degrees in regulatory science. Okay, so this you can read through this to understand what are the different what is the course focusing on and what is going to be taught in this particular course. The curriculum requirements will mention about the different courses that will be taught in this particular area. So just as we look for pharmaceutics and pharmacology, you can go through these requirements and the different course curriculum that is required, and you will be able to find this particular information. You can also look into admissions here, which will tell you about how to apply and what are the requirements to apply to this particular program. So for MS in regulatory science, this is the admission criteria as mentioned here. So in this way you would be able to find out this information, and if you want to know specifically about who is the faculty who teaches at that particular university, you can go into the website and find out this information as well. All the faculty profiles are mentioned on the university, on the departmental websites. You can go through them to see what research they have been doing over the last few years, and also what kind of work they are planning to do, if they have had grants recently, what research work they are focusing on. In that way you would be able to select and decide if this program is suitable for you or not. Okay, so as we have just seen about faculty profiles, this will also give you a lot of required information. And last thing what you should also remember is you should be talking to the alumni to get first hand information about the specific course. So by this I mean you can talk to the seniors who have already completed BPharm and gone to US. They would be able to help you, as well as people who have already graduated from that particular university. Those people can provide you the most up to date information, as well as be able to help you to provide the detailed information about the courses, the faculties, the kind of the job profiles that people get into after that particular course. So all this information is usually you can easily get this from the alumni, and you should find them and try to talk to them as well. Okay, so I hope this would have helped you to understand all the different requirements or the different things that you need to consider before you select the right university that you want to apply to, and based on this you are able to shortlist the universities and apply to them. Thank you.